Coach?
Talked about heading into this game. Number one, that Georgia Southern is going to have a really good year. I think they do a great job. Very deep team, physical team at a lot of different positions, able to play really big, especially with McCaden back. He didn't play in that game the other night. I just think he's just a really, really good player. And you look at his stat line, he does a lot of good stuff, and he's a tough matchup at the point at his size, being able to run the offense. And they got, good enough shooters around, and they play a very physical game. And we did not match the physicality on both offense and defense. And I thought the physicality of the game impacted our ability to shoot and make open shots. I thought that was a big key. I thought offensively we got some really good looks, but it's going to be tough to be successful. When your players that you're counting on don't shoot the ball well, don't create some easy opportunities, and at the same time, I thought we had some good looks, but you got to make some shots too. You got to be able to make some shots. So. Was concerned early about our ability to play a physical, tough team, and we saw that in game number 2, and we didn't respond well enough. So we got to keep addressing that, and we got to get better in those areas.
Questions for Coach?
Coach, 4 points in the paint in the first half. What led to that? Was it something that Georgia Southern was doing, or just a lid on the basket?
No, I think their defensive philosophy with the way they play, unless you got a really dynamic post player that can score in a variety of ways, it's going to be difficult to score in the post. You got to sometimes use your post player as a distributor, and I thought Russell played a great game for us. I thought he played a great game, and you'll look at the stat line and say, you got 2 shots. You're not going to get more than 2 shots against them. It's like when you play Houston and they trap the post from the top. Those post guys aren't going to score. He did a good job on the offensive glass, but a lot of times on the offensive glass, there's a guy underneath him. So it's not like it's an offensive putback; it's an offensive rebound with then swarming in there. You got to kick it out. The area that we didn't get is a second or third drive that now you're able to get to the basket. And they do a good job of protecting the rim. They got good size at every position. Other than when Cobbs is out there, they're big at every spot. They're 6'5" or bigger at every spot. So they do a good job of protecting the rim, swarming the paint and the drives. We didn't do a good enough job of driving and kicking and getting a second drive. Shots showed on the first one, and unfortunately we took them and we just didn't make them.
Was this the kind of game, or this the kind of opponent rather, that had Jalen been available, we might have seen Jalen and Russ on the floor at the same time?
Tough on the matchup though, because they're 6'5", 6'6" guys. Our perimeter threats. We let Cam Bryant loose in that first half and 2 or 3 big threes on us. You know what I mean? And kind of gave his 3-point shooting kind of gave him the lead in the first half. So yeah, a little more difficult in terms of that matchup and so forth. But you got to go with who you got out there. You know what I mean? You got to go with who you got out there. And I thought in the second half we defended well enough. There was a couple critical plays in there where we got stops and and harping on the perimeter cutouts and rebounding, and just didn't get enough of those. There was a couple big plays where you're down 6, down 7, that you get to stop and you just don't come up with the rebound, and those were backbreakers as well.
Coach, you're looking for quicker defensive rotations, I guess, off the dribble, because it looked like most of their paint points came, from the physicality of their guards.
Yeah, and so now you gotta get into those gaps and show the help. We gave up one late in the game. You got a non-shooter in the corner, and the guy's able to drive. You can't give up that split. You know what I mean? The hardest thing now in college basketball is to guard the ball one-on-one. A lot of teams are spreading the court, so you got to try to shrink the court on that. You know what I mean? You got to try to shrink the court. And there was times where we didn't do a good enough job. And then at the same time, we did. Like I said, we don't play for steals. We force 18 turnovers. We force 4 or 5 shot clock violations, which obviously is part of those turnovers. And they shoot 34% from the field, 10% from the three in the second half. Our defense can get better. There's no doubt about it. And it has to. And then when you get those stops, you got to finish it with a rebound or you get a turnover. You got to capitalize on those. And I thought there was a couple early in the first half and a couple in the second half, with some costly turnovers after getting a good stop. Guy steps out of bounds. We throw the ball out of bounds. Plays like that. We're just not in a position right now with the group being connected enough to overcome some of those mistakes.
Now, they were 2 for 11 against the zone there at one point in the second half. Is that zone something you're going to mix in more?
Well, we went to it, and again, we went to it with them still kind of not shooting the ball well. It wasn't that they were scoring so much on our man-to-man. I just thought an adjustment might get our guys going a little bit, maybe even on the other end. And sometimes in the zone, you can run a little better because your perimeter guys are already starting out ahead on the break. So I thought our zone was very effective today. So yeah, I mean we've worked on it more. We're getting a little more comfortable in it. So it's something that we definitely can utilize.
Obviously, lost in the result of the game is what DJ Patrick did, especially in the first half. What did you see from him that
Well, I thought for the most part, he was ready to shoot the ball. He moved the best off the ball of anybody that we had. So the biggest thing is when you drive the ball and you're in your offensive flow, if you're standing, you're easy to guard. He doesn't stand. He moves. He cuts along the baseline. He'll chase after the ball when he sees an open area. He does a good job of coming off of screens and different things like that. And he's always ready to shoot, So I thought he, again, offensively, especially shooting the ball, I thought he did a very good job for us in that. Again, the nitpick, there's maybe a couple that maybe a little too quick here and there, but the guy goes 6 for 13 from the three, so you got to live with that. My concern, and I challenged him after the game, you can't play 26 minutes and not get a defensive rebound. You know what I mean? Now as a freshman, his role is to make shots for us. All right, but he also needs to become a more complete player. That's why he came here. And those are the standards that he's got to hold on to, and he's got to be a little stronger with the ball because the 2 turnovers, one critical in the second half, But again, I thought Russell played very well. I thought DJ played very well. And again, Trey, if you look at the stat line, he missed 2 shots, but I thought in terms of executing what we wanted to on the drives and the kicks and so forth, 4 assists, 1 turnover, he did the best job of that.
North Carolina A&T on Monday, quick turnaround. You guys back at it tonight, film study?
Yeah, well, the players won't be, but the coaches will. Yeah, I mean, we'll jump on it right away. We'll digest this game, look at this game. Because the biggest thing right now that you got to, that we got to do is keep addressing the issues that surface during practice and during games. Going into this game, we needed to do a better job on the ball screen coverage. I didn't think our ball screen coverage on Tuesday was good enough. I thought it was much better today. Guarding the dribble drive is going to be big every game that you play. We got to keep getting better at that. To be good at that, you got to have the guy on the ball has got to have the attitude that he's going to stop this guy one-on-one. Then the guys off the ball got to have the attitude like there's no way he can stop him one-on-one, so I got to be ready to help. You know what I mean? And there are times when we got all 5 guys working together as one on the defensive end, and we're good. That we just need to become more consistent in that. And that's going to be challenged. On Monday night, we're going to see a lot of changing defenses and different things like that. So our point guard understanding what they're in and then appropriately attacking is going to be critical for us.
Coach, have you ever seen such a long shooting drought as the one that happened there in the second half? And did you see anything from the bench kind of keeping the guys motivated to keep shooting? Because obviously that's the game plan, knowing you guys are a good shooting team.
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody on the bench was positive in terms of keep shooting the ball. You got to shoot it when you're open. When you're open, you got to be ready to shoot. I thought maybe there was a time or two where we could have got to a second drive and kick instead of taking the first open one. But again, you want the guys to play with that confidence that when they're open and they're ready to shoot it. So it's something that, usually the level, what is it, the water rises to the level. If you're a 33% three-point shooter over the season, that's what you're going to shoot. So yeah, I thought that the guys on the bench and the guys on the court were more than positive. We hit the first one to open up the game, and then the only other ones hit were by DJ. Everybody else missed them. You know what I mean? So got to get back in the gym, got to get your shots up, got to be taking care of your bodies with a quick turnaround and see if you get fresh and be ready to go on Monday.
Anything else?